What's going on, guys? I'm here with my good buddy, Clay, better known as Pantherology. You can see the Panthers logo in the background. He's a Panthers fan, and I'm a Cowboys fan. And today we're going to go ahead and predict all the week one games. So, Clay, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, guys, you've probably seen this before. We could collab before. Yeah, let's go Panthers. Week one, baby.
Cool. So, you ready to just go and get into it?
Well, guys, my channel is Pantherology. You already know Ryan as Fratagonia. But if you look me up, just type in Panther and then like a ology, Logolology. Sorry.
Yeah, but make sure you tell them the right way.
Yeah, they're going to be typing in like Logo. Yeah.
For sure. So, first game, man, we got Falcons in Atlanta playing the Seahawks, man.
Yes.
1 o'clock game on Fox.
Yes.
Well, what are your thoughts on this?
Obviously I like the Seahawks. I just don't see the problem is the fact that like the Falcons got Todd Gurley this offseason. They added on Hayden Hurst after losing Austin Hooper. They got Julio Jones, and then of course I think Calvin Ridley's going to be a stud, and I think he's going to be better than Julio Jones this year. I predict that already. I think Julio Jones is just older, and I don't think he's like on his way out right now. I just think that Calvin Ridley is just going to be that good. I like the Falcons team. You still got Matty Ice. I just don't trust Quinn as a coach. I don't think that Quinn as a coach is really that good. I just, ever since they lost that Super Bowl, they really haven't been that great. They've beaten us, but it's not like they were the old Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl. Another thing is I question that defense. How good is that defense going to step up and take down Russell Wilson and those guys? So I give the dub to the Seahawks on this one. I think they win by 10 points.
10 points. Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go and say my gut says Seattle, but my heart says Atlanta, man. And I think Todd Gurley's gonna come in and bring a little bit of that swagger back to the Falcons, just being a Georgia guy. And I think their defense is finally going to step it up again this year, man. Obviously, Dan Snyder, it hasn't lived up to the hype since the Super Bowl. I don't think he's an elite coach, but I do think they're going to pull it together and potentially be a playoff team this year. I'm not going to predict the score, but I'm going to go with my heart, which I probably shouldn't, and I'm going to pick Atlanta to win that one.
Oh, so you're going with the upset because they're like – I'm pretty sure Seattle's like they are okay, yeah, so they're two and a half favorites. So wow, I thought it was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, so it's a pretty close line.
Right.
And it should be a close game, and Atlanta has home field advantage, so who knows. I'm looking at the next game, Jets Bills. Obviously we got a good buddy, Dan Mitchell, who does Bills videos on YouTube, and I think he's got this one pretty spot on, Clay. The Jets are the team you got to beat, and I think that's a big game to have first game of the season because it's something that the Bills can build on. I do kind of have them having a down year compared to last year, but with a start like this, depending on how their schedule goes, I think they could kind of build on it and go better than 9-7, 10-6.
To elaborate on that, I believe the Bills will win this game. They're obviously 6.5 favorites in it. I think another thing is for them, though, is the thing that I question the most about the Bills and this team is not their defense. Their defense is probably the best defense in the league.
Sure.
Probably.
Up there, yeah.
I think that the problem I have with them is Josh Allen. How is after losing that playoff game last season, the way they did, how is he mentally after losing that game? Because a lot of those guys, you think about it, they lose those games after that horrible loss or that terrible loss against these teams in the playoffs, and they come back the next year and don't play as they probably should. So yeah. I question that a little bit. I did predict on Danny's channel that they go in 11-5. But I'm questioning. But now I'm questioning it because when the Patriots signed Cam Newton, and now I'm really thinking that the Patriots are going to take this division still with the genius. But in this game, obviously, the Bills get the win. I would say the Bills. I think actually the Bills probably win this by 2 touchdowns.
Okay, I think that's fair. You remember when Dak came in and he had an average start to the season, was it 2 years ago? And then we
Yeah.
made that big trade for Amari Cooper, and all of a sudden Dak started looking like a stud. I
Right.
think bringing in Stephon Diggs could definitely help in Buffalo. One question I have is who's their starting running back? Is it going to be Devin Singletary, 3 or 4 weeks in, or is it going to be Zach Moss? But I agree. It's probably going to be a 10 to 14 point win for the Bills. Let's see what we got next. Bears and Lions, and let's see where this is.
I like this game.
Detroit. Ooh, yeah, I do too. So apparently Mitch Trubisky's emerged as a starter in Chicago.
Listen, man. I like Detroit in this game. The Bears are the favorite in this. Showing the money spreads 3. So yeah, so they're giving. I think that the Lions are better than what people think. I know Kenny Galladay's out, but Marvin Jones is a very good wide receiver number 2.
So
Very
Galladay
good.
is out. I knew he was listed
Yes,
as questionable. Okay.
he is. I'm pretty sure that they listed him out yesterday.
Yeah, I still
Uh,
think they have better weapons than
yeah, I mean, when you
Chicago.
got DeAndre Swift in the backfield, you got a Kerryon Johnson back there. You got 2 running backs that can be very good. Both could probably be 1,000-yard backs if they were whoever's starting. DeAndre Swift was a stud at Georgia. I know
Sure.
that because he ran all over South Carolina.
It's an
So
RB farm, man.
yeah, so it's like, and then they got Hawkinson, who's a really good tight end. He's young. He was a rookie last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I like to call him Baby Gronk.
Yeah, I mean, he's built just like Gronk. Every time I look at him, I'm
Sure.
like, yeah, that's another Gronk. So that's another thing. And Stafford, you know me. We've talked about Stafford so many times, how much I like him as a quarterback. And again, another Georgia boy. And another thing is Matt Patricia is a defensive-minded coach, though. And that defense, I think, has gotten better, Detroit. And
They did lose Darius Slay, though.
yeah, that's going to be a big loss for them in that position. But I think that the Bears just don't excite me. They got they got Khalil Mack, but they've got great wide receivers. They got Anthony Miller and they got A-Rob, and then they need their tight end to step up there. And then Tariq Cohen's going to be the starting running back. So how much of a running game are they going to have? Are they going to run the ball with Tariq Cohen? So, and I don't think Mitch Trubisky's that good. I think Mitch Trubisky at best should not be a starting quarterback in this league. I could see him maybe being a solid backup, like a Matt Moore kind of guy. But he's not that good, and I think Nick Foles will be starting here sooner than we think. But in this game,
that's my thing, man. Nick Foles, you pay the guy not to play, and it seems like it happens every time a team besides Philadelphia signs him. He comes in with his big deal, and then he loses the starting job day one to Mitch Trubisky, of all people. Probably, gosh, if Josh Allen won one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the NFL last year, then Mitch Trubisky surely was.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tough call for me. I just don't get why you sign a guy like Nick Foles and then he's not your starter. Because I figured when they signed him, I was like, okay, he's going to be the starter there.
Yeah.
So I give the dub to I think this game's going to be really close. I think it's going to come down to the last 2 possessions. Looking into it, I think Matt Prater puts it up through the uprights and gets the win for him.
Okay, I got Lions by touchdown. Lions by a touchdown, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little more than that.
Yeah.
Next,
it's just because Bears defense is still really freaking good, and
that's true.
With Khalil Mack leading the way, they're still really good on the defensive side of the ball.
True. So next we have Green Bay and Minnesota against the Vikings. And Clay, I really like the Vikings in this one, man. I think they're moving up in the world. They just paid Dalvin Cook, I think today, for like 5 years, 60-something million, I believe.
Yep.
And yeah, I think Green Bay's on the way down as of now with Aaron Rodgers just a year older. What are your thoughts?
Is Aaron Rodgers Rodgers not one of the best quarterbacks in the league?
Yeah, I would say he is, but I would say, man, he's getting to that age where, like he's going to have a solid year, but kind of like Phillip Rivers last year where they're not washed up, but, man, you got to put the right people around them. You got to make sure the offensive line's good. You got to make sure they got weapons.
What was their record last year?
I'd have to look. And
It was
what
30.
they came.
I know what it was. I'm just
Okay.
I'm being a smart ass right now because
I know they were good, but
they were 13-3 last year.
who eliminated them from the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know that team.
You like that, yeah?
I don't know that team, dog.
Man, I think Kirk Cousins has a newfound swagger, man. I like his game. And they brought in more weapons. Who's the rookie receiver they brought in? I can't think of his name.
Justin Jefferson out of LSU.
Jefferson. Yep.
I just listen, man. I don't like Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's another one of these guys. Do I think he's a starter? Yes. Do I think he's a superstar? No. Do I think he's consistent? He's like, yes. Would I take my quarterback over him, Teddy Bridgewater? Yeah, I would. But I just don't see it. Like, Dalvin Cook's going to be good. Minnesota's always been good on the defensive side of the ball. We know Dalvin Cook's going to be good, but the thing is, Dalvin Cook's got to stay healthy for them to be good in that position. Adam Thielen's going to have to stay healthy. He can't get injured again. Kevin Rudolph's going to have to step up. And then Justin Jefferson's going to have to – he's got some shoes to fill when you lose a guy like Stephon Diggs.
That is true. That's a big loss.
This is going to be a battle, and I don't think it's going to come from the defensive side of the ball. I think that Green Bay and Vikings are going to go back and forth on this one. I predicted it's going to be a high-scoring game, which I predicted the Texans to be a high-scoring game versus the Chiefs, and that didn't happen. So I can't go against Aaron Rodgers. I can't say Aaron Rodgers over Christian McCaffrey. I just can't.
Hey, he's a bad man. I do know that.
I mean, Stephen A. is right. He is a bad man. And I think even though they didn't add anybody on for the wide receiver, I think Alan Lazard is still a very good wide receiver number 2. And obviously, when you have Devontae Adams and you got Aaron Jones, and then you have A.J. Dillon backing him up, I mean, that Aaron Jones is going to be a key in that offense. If they're going to want to win games like they did last year and go 13-3 again, they have got to get the ball in Aaron Jones' hands just a little bit more and try to not pass as much, even though you want to, because you want Aaron Rodgers to look like the bad man that he is.
Yeah, I agree. And A.J. Dillon is he's going to be something, man. He's like 6 feet, 240.
Dude, apparently he's got bigger quads than Saquon.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. He's a big guy. I'm still going to go with Minnesota. The next game we're going to look at is Miami in New England. And, oh, man, I don't know. Miami's really added some players, especially on defense, I think. Byron Jones coming in. Really good coverage corner, not exactly a ball hawk by any means. But with Ryan Fitzpatrick starting, I don't think this is going to be one of those Fitz magic moments. At the same time, New England, I could see being a little flat this year too. I like Cam. I like his game if he could stay healthy, but he doesn't have all the weapons in the world in New England, just like Brady didn't last year.
Okay, what I'm saying is they have built their NFL coaching reputations on the defensive side of the ball is what I'm saying.
For sure. Yeah.
So both of these teams defensively are going to be very good, and don't sleep on Miami's defense. I really think that Miami's defense is going to be very solid this year.
Agreed. Yeah.
What I want to know is Tua Tagovailoa, is he going to end up being the starter there when Fitzmagic starts going, shit in the bed, and there's no more Fitzmagic?
Man, I'm gonna give Tua I'll give Fitz 2-3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened in Tampa Bay. They put James back in at week 3, week 4. Mm-hmm. So, I can see that. I also want to know is who's going to be the running back for this team. Is it going to be Matt Breida, or is it going to be Jordan Howard? I like Matt Breida. I think Matt Breida is the better back. He can run the ball. He can get you 4 or 5 yards on the run, even up the middle. But he can catch. And I think he's a lot better catching back than Jordan Howard is. Jordan Howard's more of that third down guy. You want to put him in there, or that fourth down, or that third and goal, on the goal line.
Yeah.
Preston Williams stepped up last year. He was probably going to be a 1,000-yard receiver if he didn't get injured. Devontae Parker is obviously coming into his own now and stepping up. He's a young guy. They're not going to get this win here, but I do like this Miami team going forward through the future. I think that's one of the teams like us that's, we're looking for the future. But obviously I think Cam and the Patriots and Bill Belichick and those guys there, I just think that the genius doesn't lose to Miami. But it's always close with Miami. But Miami always has to pull out a miracle to beat them most of the time. So I'm going to go 28-10. 28-10.
Okay, yeah, I think it's going to be a little closer than that, but I'm still going to go with the Pats. I got a feeling I could be wrong about that one. But that's going to be
think
my
Miami
prediction.
could pull you? So you think Miami might even have a chance to pull it out?
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that Ryan Fitzpatrick's their starting quarterback. I mean, he's got to be, 37, 38 years old now? I mean,
It's
the
tough.
very –
It's really tough for me in this situation with these teams in that division. I mean, obviously, I think the Jets finished third. I honestly thought Miami finishes fourth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those divisions that really either one of those teams are going to be third or fourth, and then it's going to be the Pats or the Bills first or second. Listen, man, I think Cam's going to, after leaving us and releasing us after we released him, I really think that the Pats take that division. I think he's going to be on a tear. I think he's got something to prove, and he's got the genius behind him, and I think it's going to be an interesting division right there.
Okay, that's a pretty hot take. Man, next is going to be a barn burner. We got the Eagles in DC against the Washington football team. Can
we just skip this game because the only thing that the Redskins have is Terry McLaurin, and that's it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, they're getting a lot of hype because I think for one offseason they finally did a couple things right. But, man, And I don't think the Eagles have a lot of weapons either, but, I mean, they at least have some defense. They got Darius Slay. They're going to have a better offensive line. I just think the Eagles are the better team. I don't think either team are going to be great.
I mean, here's the thing, though. The Eagles, they got to keep Carson Wentz healthy. So that offensive line's got to stay there. If the Eagles want to be anywhere compatible and stay in their division with y'all, as you being a Dallas Cowboys fan, they have to keep Wentz healthy. If they keep Wentz healthy, that is a dangerous Eagles team. When you have Miles Sanders, you got Deshaun Jackson, and then if Alshon comes back like old Alshon, but that was 20 years ago. But who knows? But like when those two were together and they were both healthy, that Eagles team looked immaculate. And Miles Sanders running the ball. Carson Wentz looked like a stud. They still got Ertz, and they got Dallas Goedert. So they got two tight ends that are very dangerous. This is not even going to be close. It's going to be like 35 to like 10.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Eagles are putting up 35 points, but yeah, I mean, they definitely got some weapons. Ertz looks like he might be on his way out soon if they don't pay him, which it looks like they don't plan on it. Dallas Goedert is obviously the next guy up, and he could play.
Goddard. That's his name. Goddard. I thought it was like
Goddard.
Goedert.
He played our alma mater in football at is it North Dakota State or South Dakota State? Him and Carson Wentz both, and then they used to kill us every year. That's the thing with Wentz, even in college, but especially as a pro, is he can't stay healthy, and I don't expect him to play 10 games this year. So, it's hard for me to predict them to be a great team, but I do think week one, they definitely take this one.
Yeah. For
like I
sure.
said, a little closer than you think.
Yeah.
The next game is your call, man. You got Vegas and Carolina. How's Teddy Bridgewater going to do, man?
I think Teddy Bridgewater's going to put 300 yards on him and 3 touchdowns. I think that the matchups are very. I'm putting out a matchup video to. I'll probably have it up by like 8 a.m. And so I can give everybody some key matchups to look forward to for tomorrow. But we have probably a top 10 wide receiver core in the league, and the thing is Las Vegas. They added on, some guys at the corner position in the draft. They added on 2 wide receivers, Ruggs and then Edwards, which shout out to Edwards, Conway boy,
True.
and a South Carolina boy. Then, of course, they got Sockesty boy, Hunter Renfro. So I got to give him a nice little shout out.
True.
Here's the thing, man. How good is John Gruden after signing 10 years for $100 million contract? Has he really done anything for them in the time that he's been there?
That contract was never going to look good long term, in my opinion. I didn't like it day one. I mean, I like John Gruden. I think he's a solid coach. He loves football, but I don't know what they were thinking. He did take a Tampa Bay team with a poor quarterback to the Super Bowl. Maybe they were thinking Derek Carr was a little more talented than Brad Johnson, but I think it came to that Tampa defense was just a lot better than the defense we're looking at in Vegas.
So here, I'm going to break it down for you like this. One of the first key matchups that I am looking forward to is Dante Jackson against Ruggs. Dante Jackson's going to have to be against Ruggs because that's going to be their number one guy. That's probably going to be their number one wide receiver. Then we're putting up Troy Pride Jr. against Brian Edwards. And Brian Edwards is 6'4". So that matchup's not really good for Troy Pride because physically Brian Edwards is much bigger.
Yep.
Then it comes to the defense, the Carolina's defense going up against Josh Jacobs. Last year, Carolina's defense was the worst in the league, especially with the run game up the middle. We could not stop the run up the middle.
Don Terry Poe, Gerald McCoy. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't save we couldn't do it. But then another matchup is Tahir Whitehead, who is an ex-Raider, and John Gruden. John Gruden knows Tahir Whitehead. So is he going to
tell you what, man?
Is he going to exploit what he knows of Tahir Whitehead's weaknesses? So granted, the defense is what really questions me here. But here's the thing. Can they stop Christian McCaffrey? Can they stop with a rookie safety that only played a couple games last year? Now he's coming back, Jonathan Abram. Can they put him on Christian McCaffrey, and can he stop Christian McCaffrey? And I don't think so. I predict Christian to have like 130 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and I predict that he'll probably have about 75 yards catching and a touchdown. So with Teddy Bridgewater throwing 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game for Christian, I think offensively we are better. I think they are talented offensively. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But I think we are better offensively, and we're going to put more points up than they are. And that's the thing that they struggled last year. They couldn't as good as they were offensively, the points weren't showing it on the scoreboard. So with that being said, I think that we get the win here. I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to come down to like the last 3 possessions, I still think, because our defense isn't that – I mean, I won't say they're not that good. The fact that we get Brian Burns back, who with 5 starts last year killed it. I mean, he's a stud. He's going to be very good, and people don't realize how good this guy's going to be. Now that he's off an injury, he's going to be the starter at that defensive end. And so I think that's another key matchup that you got to watch out for. So I think we get the dub here. I think it's going to be close, but I think we come away with a touchdown. I think I predicted like 35-28 or 31-24, something like that.
Yeah, Matt Rule is going to be a stud, man. And I do think that Carolina has the better weapons, but I am kind of hesitant to say that because Oakland has a lot of weapons, just like Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller. I believe Tyrell Williams is on that team this year from the Western Oregon or something, the wide
Yeah, but he's
receiver.
I think he's injured. I think he's out.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So it is tough for me to say, man. I am my gut says Carolina, so that's kind of who I'm gonna go with, but it's tough for me to say.
It's here's the thing with the Carolina this year. It's like everything's up in the air. So
Yeah,
everything you don't know, but and on my channel, I'm supporting them. I'm supporting everything they're doing, and I think that I just don't think the Raiders are that good. And I think also I think John Gruden's coaching days are ahead of him. I think it's done. I just think that he doesn't have it anymore. Don't think he has the now don't get me wrong, when he was there, he was probably one of the best coaches in the NFL. But when he left and then came back, I just didn't think that was a smart idea.
yeah. And another thing is they're not going to have any tape on this Carolina offense with Matt Rule. They're not going to really know what to expect. So yeah, I do give the advantage to Carolina in this one. I think it's going to be pretty close. And but yeah, I'm gonna go Carolina by a touchdown. Do you think that the Indianapolis Colts are gonna march into Duval into Jacksonville and win on Sunday?
Listen, man, a lot of people hating on Jacksonville. They added at the tight end position. They got Tyler Eifert. They still have D.D. Westbrook. They still got all these great wide receivers. DJ Chark. Uh, you know, and then obviously the running back situation is kind of up in the air. Who's going to be a starter with all these guys? James Robinson, Aza Ogobi, or whatever. I can't even pronounce his name right.
Yep.
And well, obviously Armstead's out because of COVID. So, that's the week. And then I like the stash, man. I think
I do
Gardner
too.
Minshew
I do too.
I think he's a stud. I think after what I saw last year, I think he should have stayed in there the whole year. He should have been playing the whole time.
Yeah, I agree. He's a baller.
But no, I don't think they
Yeah,
beat the
I agree.
Colts. I like the stash. The stash is probably the most swaggiest guy in the NFL.
Yeah, save the stash.
So I just don't see them getting the win here. I think the Colts are going to be very good this year with adding Philip Rivers this offseason, even though he's older. But Philip Rivers can still play, man. Guy can still sling the ball. He's got about 12 children, so he's still slinging that. So, and then they got Austin Eckler, which I'm not too big on Austin Eckler. I kind of question him a little bit because of his size. But obviously, his size doesn't matter because look at Clyde Edwards the other night.
Yeah,
he's a
baller, man.
Yeah. So, and then you've got a wide receiver core there, which they've got young guys with Campbell, and then they've got obviously Ty still there. They got Jack Doyle, who's still I think is still an underrated tight end. I think he's very good. They got great running backs. They got Jonathan Taylor. Still got Hines. They got all these guys on that offensive side, and that run game is going to be very good for the Colts. And the Colts last year had one of the top 10 defenses last year. So I think Colts are going to win this game. I can't even give a score prediction, but I'm going to say at least. I'm gonna give the Colts 2 touchdowns. I just think.
Yeah, I was gonna say more than 2 touchdowns.
I'm going to say at least 2 touchdowns or more, because I said 2 touchdowns, but you kind of got me on that side because I see it because of everything that's going on in Jacksonville. It's just been a shit show.
Yeah, I think that Colts run game. That first off, that offensive line is just awesome, and to give Philip Rivers some time, is he going to have the most weapons at receiver and tight end? No, but he'll have some solid ones. He's got Jack Doyle, he's got T.Y. Hilton, and if Trey Burton comes back from injury, then he'll have that too. God, who's the rookie? Is it Michael Pittman?
Yeah, Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah,
who came
so
out of
he could be
USC.
really good too. Yeah, so between Marlon Mack, Hines, Jonathan Taylor, I think they got some studs. So I have them by more than 2 touchdowns, maybe 17. Um, the next
Colts
game,
is the Colts are a sleeper, man. I really think they are. And if
yeah, they
and
are
this could
though.
be and here's the thing. This is like kind of like a make it or break it year, like get that Super Bowl chip for Phillip Rivers. And now, granted, he doesn't have a Keenan Allen or Michael or a Mike Williams and a
Mhm.
Hunter Henry, but they have three great running backs. They've got two young guys at the wide receiver, and they've got but a T.Y. Hilton. And then you said Trey Burton and Jack Doyle. So that's a solid crew, and that offensive line is good, like you said. So this could be a year, and don't be surprised that Philip Rivers is going to be on a tear, I think, this year. I think he's going to be the guy that's like, I've got to get to the Super Bowl. I've got to get a Super Bowl on my name because he's been in the league for so long. And I feel bad for the guy because I like Philip Rivers.
Yeah, man, do it for Rivers, do it for State. I don't think that they're a Super Bowl contender, but I think they're definitely a contender to win the division. I think they'll be solid. They may win a game or two in the playoffs. The next game, Clay, I don't even want to talk about. It's Cleveland and Baltimore. I got the Ravens. I don't think I need to say anymore. I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a good game. I got Baltimore.
It's so tough for me, man. This game's tough for me, and I don't know why. Because I should be able to just say the same thing for you. But the last year, the Browns beat the Ravens in one game last year, if I'm not mistaken. And but here's the thing: we got to question the Browns a little bit. Is Baker Mayfield going to have that another big year like he did when he came in? You know, can he do that? Can Odell Beckham get all these shitty distractions out of the way and and then adding Austin Hooper, and then you got Jarvis Landry, you got Nick Chubb, and you got and then
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. So it's like
Yep.
that offense should be clicking just as much as that offense in Baltimore. Um, I can't say an upset here. I really want to because I really want the Browns to do good because I'm tired of hearing about the Browns shit in the bed every year.
Yep.
So, yeah, Ravens.
Yeah, in my mind, the Browns suck until further notice. They got to prove me something before I pick them against anybody. The next game is going to be pretty interesting. Chargers at Cincinnati is
Oh,
who's starting in LA? Is it going to be
Tyrod.
Herbert or is it going to be Tyrod? Okay, Tyrod's
Tyrod, right?
okay.
They said Herbert does not look good.
Okay,
He
and when's
said
the last
Herbert
time Tyrod's won a game as a starter?
since when he was probably with the Browns, but they won. I think they won like one. I mean, I don't know how many games he played before they put Baker in.
I think at this point in his career, man, he's a good backup, but I would not pick him and that Chargers team over. I think Joe Burrow's just got some weapons, man. They just paid Joe Mixon,
Yeah.
and they got all the receivers in the world.
AJ Green's back from his injury, and they say he
Mhm.
looks just like old AJ Green. And if that's true, that's going to
Watch
be
out. Yeah.
an offense to watch out for.
Yeah, no
So yeah,
doubt.
I'm going to go Bengals, buddy. I'm going to take the Bengals on this one.
Me too.
They're going Chargers 3. Um, the thing is with the Bengals, I don't know really much about their defense. I just know a little bit about their offense. And I mean, Chargers probably have a better defense if I had to guess.
Hmm.
A lot more weapons. Uh, offensively, I'd say they're about the same with both of these teams. So it's probably going to be a defensive battle against these two offenses, So it's kind of up in the air. And I'll go Bengals, but I'm going to take the spread. I'm going to go 3 points for the Bengals.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. Um, yeah, like I said, man, I think the Bengals are on the uprise this year. We'll have to see what Joe Burrow does, until further notice. But I would still pick him over a career backup at this point in Tyrod Taylor,
Oh
who
yeah,
was a good starter at one time.
for sure.
Mr. Tom Brady is going to Nolans this
Love this.
weekend
Love this game. I
That's
love
gonna be
this game.
fun.
It
And
is gonna be fun.
I'm picking Drew Brees just
Um,
due to continuity. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be close. But
mhm,
I think the team that has more familiarity is going to pull it out.
mhm. Yeah, I mean the Saints are the best. I think still the Saints are the better team just because of the experience and everybody know each other. Uh, the thing is though, is people are like, oh gosh, Tampa Bay's got this guy. They got Chris Godwin. They got Gronk. They got Cameron Brake. They got OJ Howard. They got TB 43. They got Leonard Fournette now, and they got Mike Evans. It's like, okay, yeah, they got all these weapons, but how much do they know of each other? How familiar? What have they put everything together? Are they familiar with each other? Do they know each other's tendencies? Probably not, because they didn't have a preseason. Yeah, they had a training camp. Yeah, they practiced together, but it's different when you're in a game.
Yep.
And that's why we play the game. That's why we play football. And another thing is I'm going to put a fun stat out to you, and why I question Tampa Bay a lot and why I think they're overrated. Last year, they said that Tampa Bay's offensive line was probably one of the worst last year. They allowed 47 sacks last year. They said if Jameis Winston wasn't able to move out of the pocket, he would have probably had 60 sacks on him. So Tom Brady can't move. Okay, he can't move. If that offensive line allows the same amount as what they allowed last year, go ahead and get ready to get Tom Brady a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's not going to stay healthy if that's the case. I agree.
And I don't think Gronk's going to be. I don't think Gronk's going to. I mean, yeah, he's in the best shape of his life. Yes, he's looks good. He looks. They say he looks like old Gronk, but that's another. That guy has had an injury history out of
Yep.
I mean, a list. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't see. I don't see the win here. I got Saints big. I got Saints big.
Okay. I got Saints by touchdown. Next, we got to talk a little bit about the fires in California. We have Arizona and San Fran, and we have Dallas and LA and Inglewood at the new stadium. It sounds like neither of these games are going to be played tomorrow in Cali. So I think they're probably going to get moved back a day or two, might be switch locations. It might not happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But that's kind of where it's looking. Yeah.
Is there
What do you
anything
think?
so like so what I got a question since you might know a little bit more about this than me.
Mm-hmm.
Do they plan on if they're not going to play this Sunday, are they going to just cancel the games and not play them at all through the season, or are they going to switch them to a different dates, or are they going to have to take their bye week and play that week? Another thing is, or are they just going to switch locations and just play like that?
Man, I was told Monday or Tuesday is a possibility for the Dallas game, and it would probably be in a different location. I wouldn't be shocked if they moved it to Arizona or Vegas. So
But yeah,
that's all I got.
they need to obviously move them. Even if they got to play, Dallas has to play the home game, or whoever's got to play the home game.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Obviously, because we don't. That's going to mess up the schedule pretty bad if we don't get those games played.
Yeah, and I wish they would jump ahead of this because there's no need to put it off 2 days because it's a weird season anyways, and you're going to give them a short week on no notice. I think that's just bad business, and the NFL needs to do a better job. They should have a plan in action for something like this, and they should know ahead of time what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. You're right. You're right. So I hope these games play, but if they do play, for both of them, I'm going to take the 49ers. I think that defense is very good. It's still obviously got them to the Super Bowl last year. I
Mm-hmm.
think Cardinals are still a very good team. I just don't see them beating the 49ers in this. I think, though, watch out for the Cardinals this year. That's another sleeper team. Very talented, still a little young, added some guys. Kenyon Drake, DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray's still a stud.
Yep.
So watch out for them this year. I got your Cowboys in LA. I think the Cowboys are gonna win this game. I'm not saying that because I'm on here with you. Just saying that because I don't know how good Jared Goff's gonna be this year. Even though they're saying that they think he's gonna have one of the best years he's had. They still got a great wide receivers with Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp, and then they got Tyler Higbee is starting to come into his own as a solid tight end. And then I think Cam Akers is going to be a stud in this league. He's going to be I think he's going to be like another Dalvin Cook kind of guy. Um, so I got the win there for them. I got the Cowboys winning, but Dak and
Yep.
those guys it's going to be that offense is obviously a top 3, top 5 offense in the league.
Yeah, I agree. And I got Dallas. I already did the preview for that, but I think they're going to present some threats to us, but I think we should win fairly comfortably. Probably 10-point win. As far as Arizona goes, I don't think they have anything for San Fran. Like you said, they added some weapons. I think their offense is going to be explosive at times. Jury's still out on Cliff Kingsbury. We'll see what he can do on the defensive side this year. And if they're competitive, obviously they have some decent pass rushers. So I'm thinking especially Chandler Jones. But yeah, that's all I got.
I mean, the thing is with the LA though is their defense is very good. So the only thing for Dallas is that they got to watch that defense because Jalen got paid, so he's going to be coming out playing since he got paid, obviously going to be playing like he did in Jacksonville. But I mean that defense is still good at LA, so don't sleep on them though, Ryan. But I think that y'all get the win. I don't know if it'll be 10-point win. I'd say at least a touchdown. So I'll give you a touchdown there.
Facts. Okay. I can live with that. Just give me the win and just play the freaking game, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this thing canceled. I definitely don't want to see it moved back. Get it done. Move it if you have to, but get it done. Guys,
Take
I
the
think
bye
that's
week.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't hate that, but I would hate that because I don't want to have to wait till week 2 to see some Cowboys football.
We got 2 Monday night games.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be interesting to see what the NFL does, man. They just need to hurry up and make a decision before tomorrow.
Yeah. So you could maybe they could do something with the Monday night or play some games Tuesday night if they have to. Are we gonna go to the Monday night games?
Yeah, give me the Monday night games real quick.
All right. So we got Steelers Giants
And New Yorker,
in New York.
I want the Steelers to win, but I am gonna pick the. Oh man, it's hard for me to say the Giants. I'm gonna pick the Giants. Yeah, hi.
What?
Oh, I hate
Wow.
to say that. Yeah,
I'm taking Pittsburgh. I think Big Ben's gonna come back better than ever. They're still solid all around on the offense. They went 8-8 last year with 2 guys that were obviously not the best, Hodges and Rudolph. And then I think that defense at the Steelers are just still good, and they got Mitch Fitzpatrick still back there. So, I think that defense is still good. And going 8-8 last year without Big Ben, James Connors is still there, and he's healthy and ready to go. I got the Steelers in this. I got Steelers beating them by a touchdown.
yeah. I do have the Steelers defense in like 3 or 4 fantasy leagues, in like every league pretty much except one. So I don't know why I'm picking against them.
Big news. Miles Sanders is out week 1.
Ooh, actually, I shouldn't say I like to hear that. No, I don't want to see him hurt. I don't want to see anybody hurt. I do want to see the Eagles lose, and hopefully Miles Sanders doesn't have a bad injury or anything.
I think it's just a hamstring injury, but it doesn't.
Gotcha.
They said
hopefully
it doesn't seem serious. All right, last Monday night game: Titans Broncos.
In Tennessee or in Denver?
Denver. This is
a
good game.
And that is going to be a good game. And I'm going to go with Tennessee. But, man, I wouldn't be shocked if Drew Lock does it because I think he's going to have a big year. He's another fantasy guy I've gotten in a couple leagues because I think he's got some weapons now. Jerry Judy, Cortland Sutton. Yeah. Sutton.
Um, so I think this. So I think that they added my boy Clowney.
Yeah.
God, this is such a tough game. I think it can go either way, really, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go ahead and take the team. I'm going to take the Titans because they got my boy Clowney. But I'm going to be with you on that Broncos thing, too. Like, I won't be surprised. I think Drew Lock's going to step up, like you said. Also, another key fact is they're getting Chubb back at that defensive end on the Broncos. So that defense is going to be very good with him and Von Miller back there. And then, of course, they added Jared Judy, right? They got Jared Judy for the wide receiver position. So they got added on with that with Cortland Sutton. Then you got Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay. So that's still that. If Drew Lock can step it up and show that he can compete in this league, Broncos is going to be a team to watch out for.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a big day for Derrick Henry, but the Broncos are going to be tough. I predict 2 touchdowns from Drew Lock to Cortland Sutton. And, I think Jerry Jeudy will get some burn, but at the very end, down by 4, I think Ryan Tannehill throws the game-winning touchdown to Air Bud for the win.
I like that, except the touchdown from Ryan Tannehill. I think they get down to the goal line, pounded down with Derrick Henry.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think Air Bud's going to make an appearance, so. That's my dog though. But anyways, Clay, thanks for coming on. Everybody subscribe to this man's channel. Look up Fratagonia. Subscribe to my channel if you're watching it on Clay's. And I think that's about to do it for today. And we out of here. We out here. Peace.